What is this, like an interview or something?
Because you work full time, you're in a relationship, recording and editing takes so much of your time. You've got to be very stretched thin. How do you manage it all?
Copious amounts of alcohol.
What was the inspiration, or what was the little seed of an idea that was planted that grew into that?
Are you ready for this answer?
I am.
I can't remember.
Moomin, Littlesocks. Now I know a lot of the questions that I'm going to ask you. I know. And you do get asked these questions in your Discord from time to time, but because we have a captive audience, we're just going to go dive right in with the question you probably had the most. Are you named after the Moomins? Can you set the record straight once and for all?
No, there is no relation to the Moomins, and I wish they never existed. I am the original Moomin.
The question has to die tonight. It will never be asked again. What was the first game that you played?
Well, I was incredibly fortunate that my dad owned a PlayStation shop. The PlayStation, so it's PlayStation 1 at the time, and he would bring home a case with all the discs. So he'd obviously take the discs out of the cases, and the discs would come home, and I could just flick through this endless catalogue of brand new PS1 games. One is a game called Death Trap Dungeon, which was way ahead of its time. It's like a third-person like adventure game, and you'd go through like this maze of a castle and like a labyrinth and kill enemies and all that kind of stuff. It was really cool. The other one is Hogs of War, kind of 3D Worms before that was even a thing. You were an army of pigs. You would go from like battle to battle, and it would be a turn-based game, and you'd have an arsenal of different weapons and stuff. But it was completely narrated by Rick Mail.
Yes, you've got Death Trap Dungeon and Hogs of War fans in chat right now. Like Grumpy Your Face Man is pretty excited about this. What was your favorite PS2 game, or what were you playing the most at the time?
We might share this one, Poet.
Oh,
Need for Speed Underground 2.
Yes. The best one. Yes, baby. So how did you get into PC gaming then?
Again, I was very fortunate. So I'm painting this picture that I'm a spoiled brat of a child when I really wasn't. But my dad had a friend. He was like a PC guy. He would build computers back in the day where it wasn't like normal to build your own computer. He offered to build computers for me and my siblings. So again, I got like a gaming PC back in, would have been 2007-ish.
Wow.
But at that point, like the games were like the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And they weren't really but then very quickly, my love was formed for simulator games.
Yes.
Which is really where it all started. And as many people know, because they like to make fun of the random simulator games that I play, and it shares on Discord.
Yes.
Including but not limited to Drug Dealer Simulator.
Yes. That one made me laugh so hard.
But it started with Euro Truck Simulator, and there's a bus simulator called OMSI.
What was the absolute game of choice? What could you start gaming on at night and go, oh, the sun is rising and I've been playing all night long?
Well, I'll tell you one. Time Splitters Future Perfect. Mainly, and I think this leads on to why I enjoy Sandbox so much, is because it had a map maker in it. There was a map maker where you could build your own levels, and it even had logic.
Which of the Roller Coaster Tycoon series did you play? Did you play all of them?
Only the third one. That was actually, I'm going to reference Inside Out here, core memory.
Okay.
Was playing Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 with my brother, and he brought a bottle of wine, unbeknownst to my dad, and that was the first time I got drunk. Can you tell there's a French man in chat? What kind of wine was it?
What is white wine? What kind of wine? It wasn't.
Tell me about the wine.
So when you first heard the news about Planet Coaster?
First time I heard about it was I was a bit late to the game actually. I think it was later than all of the alphas. It was Nerd Cubed. Is that his name?
Oh my god, yes, I love Nerd Cubed.
Yeah, he had early access and was showing it off. And I remember this bit specifically where he was zooming into the grass because of how high detailed the grass is. And I just remember being like, yes, this is what I want.
Yes.
From a theme park game, the grass is even good.
What was your very best favorite feature when you started to kind of get into the meat of the game and really get into it? What was the thing that you were the most excited about having?
It's the level of detail you could go into with park management.
Yeah.
I was kind of fascinated in that I could color their uniforms. I could set up the work rosters to say exactly where I want which staff member to be working. Just that ultimate control. I love the idea of just like having a full kind of like God view of how my park is run. And I don't think it's something that many people tend to do, but like, so now my current park that I'm working on, a very Welsh park, like I know which staff members are manning the food shop at the front. I know which ones are working in the main entrance. I know the janitor I've allocated him to work out front of the park. Stuff like that. Like I love that feeling of that I am the manager of this park and I do know that guy and what he's supposed to be doing. And I can see that he's doing the thing that I've told him to do. And that's really satisfying for me. That what you intend is actually happening and that they are, when they are going for their break, they are going into that staff room that you built particularly for them to go to. And my security guards, the security office that I set up, it's really nice to see them walk to that and have their break. There's obviously the times where you'll be building for ages, and we all do it. You get to that point where you realize for the last 10 minutes, you've just been spinning the camera around, not building anything, just looking at stuff.
Why do I feel called out about this?
I think everybody does it. And I think it's those moments where maybe instead of spinning the camera around, I'm just watching the running of the park. And it's really important to see, oh, that thing isn't working properly. Like if I see that one of the shops has got no staff member, well, why hasn't it? Like, is their staff room too far away, or do I not have enough staff members?
What is the untold YouTube origin story?
So what I wanted to build a small park that, because I thought to myself, I never actually properly go in and just manage a park. And I love this idea of managing it and then seeing it as time goes on and like doing ride swaps and like recoloring stuff, but like treating it true to life. So what I wanted to do is throw together a mini park, a realistic British mini park, and so that I could then just have that as like my park that I managed. When I thought about doing that, I remember the conversation actually with my partner, and I said, I'm thinking about just recording me building this and then maybe just put it on YouTube. And then as I thought about that more, and I was like, oh, well, if I'm going to do this, why don't I do it properly? So what can I do different? Because I think every YouTube channel needs to have a unique selling point. I can be very dry and sarcastic. So I thought I'll do a bit of narration over it, and I'll make it a bit of a funny introduction. And at that point, it was just, I talked at the beginning and then I just showed the time lapse. The speed that the channel grew was mad. I'm back.
Hi. Well, we were talking about sausage. Okay, Moomin, since becoming YouTube famous, would you say you're a more politically correct social media user?
No. I would say I always was. I think being part of the LGBTQ plus blah 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 community, I'm how you say quite woke anyway. Like I feel like once you're part of the minority, you are then empathetic towards others.
Yes.
So you're already more aware of like your pronouns or the way you talk about a disability or a race. So no, I think in that sense I've always been that way. So good question then.
One of the things that I keep seeing people say over and over and over again, one of the things that I really appreciate is that humor that you inject into your videos. How are you changing that humor? Like when people tell you how much they love the sarcasm, do you play it up even more in future episodes? So
the way I do it is I time lapse the video first, and then I sit there and I watch the time lapse back, And then every time I do something new, I pause it. I think of what I'm going to say. So I'm describing what I'm doing, but with each thing that I'm doing, I like to add something funny or sarcastic with it. It could just be as simple as I created one side, mirrored it precisely, then span that baby round, right round. And just like that little
yeah,
bit
there it is.
of like just something. And normally what I do is I'll write all the basic stuff and then I'll go back over the script again. And then I'll just add little things like that I just want to, I'm not aiming to make people like roar with laughter, just like put a smile on people's as they're watching it.
Like the confetti Jerry. Did you think that was going to blow up the way that it did when you did it?
No, that was like such a throwaway line at the end. But no, I didn't think that would be the main takeaway from it. It's an emote. It's a channel point reward for Channel 5 Gaming. It's now merch. You can literally get Confetti Please Jerry on a t-shirt.
Do you have an idea of like, oh, this is really funny to me, this is going to take off, but that's not what takes off. It's something else. Like, are you surprised by what really kind of gets ingrained as part of the Moomin culture?
I never write anything that I think is going to stick. I'm very happy that it does, but my main aim is just to tell a story and entertain.
How long does each episode take you between the build that you do and doing all of the editing, rendering, and like all of the active parts of it? How long does each episode take you to make?
When I was out of work, I could do it in a week, which is why A Very British Park, I was able to build it with taking feedback from people and then implementing it into the next week. Now that I actually have a full-time job, it takes absolutely forever. So I build the stuff for the episode, which in itself is overcomplicated because like now you're building, you're not thinking about anything apart from you're just building. So you can take your time. It doesn't matter if you do a whole thing and then delete it again. When I'm building, I'm very aware that I'm recording that in 1080p using masses of storage, being very aware of how much time I'm taking to build each thing.
Oh, wow.
Knowing that I will also have to go back and watch every second of this to cut out all of the boring bits where I'm spinning the camera around or I make a mistake and go back, I cut all of that out. So I'm already very aware when I'm building. Then I take all the footage. As I said, I go through it. I cut out all the boring bits. There's none of that in mine. I get rid of anything that's remotely unrelated or just faffy or repetitive. So if I've been doing like the same coving for a whole building, I'll only show a bit of it.
Right.
And then once I've done a full edit of all of that stuff, I'll then speed it up 4 times, which hopefully by that point it's about 20 minutes. As I said, I watch the time lapse back. Right. I write the script. Then I record the voiceover. And at that point, it's easy because then I just need to record some cinematics. I get about 5-6 cinematic shots. And then it's just a matter of putting it all together at that point, which is the most rewarding part. I take the cinematics from the previous episode for the introduction. I then whack the time lapse in, put the voiceover in the right places, put the outro cinematics from the current park, put the end screen on the end, and then upload it to YouTube.
I mean, this is one of the things that sets your videos apart from so many other people, I think, is the level of production that goes into it. Like, you really have a hugely professional level of production.
I want my content to be as good as something you could watch on Netflix.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got it. You've got the writing, you've got the production, you've got the quality, you've got the creativity. I think you have all of it.
I feel bad because I see people go, hey, check out my new video. I'm starting a new channel, and I'll go to it. And if the title is all in lowercase, there's no capitalization, there's a spelling mistake, like
right.
That's not me insulting that person, because even me, I will just double check things. I will Google to make sure I spelt something right. I will make sure it's presented how it should be, because I care about it and I want people to see that I care. Even after it's uploaded, there's stuff I need to think about, like the subtitles. I need to put the hashtags on the video. I need to do the timestamps. I mean, don't get me started on title and thumbnail. Like, it's become such a huge thing nowadays. So it's sad when like you can put so much work into the video, but ultimately it just depends on the thumbnail as to whether people watch it or not.
Right,
That's
yeah.
a scary thought.
What is your favorite TV show?
Probably my favorite is either the US Office or Parks and Recreation.
So I have a question for you. Left sock or right sock first?
What on earth are you talking about?
When you put on your socks, left foot or right foot first?
I've never thought about it.
You might have never thought about it, but I guarantee you do it the same way every time.
I'm gonna guess right, I think.
I like how you're just like, yeah, sure, whatever, Poe. If there was a Planet Coaster Royal Rumble, who would win?
What the F is a Royal Rumble?
Oh, okay, so like
Was that wrestling?
Like like an ultimate battle.
I need more information to give an honest answer to this question.
I do it all
Because
the time.
if we're talking about a build-off, that's one thing. Or if we're saying literally if you and I were to wrestle, then like that's a completely different question.
Oh, I would win.
Exactly. You would win against everybody in the community at the same time.
How do you maintain such a huge level of privacy? Is it difficult to do that?
I think it's important that one time of going, oh hey, this is my name or this is what I look like. You can't ever take that back then.
Right.
Like it's such a huge thing, and that's just like a level of privacy that you can never get back.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be taken lightly. But yeah, it's nice that I've got my real life and then I've got Moomin Littlesocks, and that like nobody knows that the other one exists.
Do you get a lot of it in YouTube comments? Do people like continuously ask for face reveals? Has that gotten more prevalent as your channel has grown?
Yeah, I would say at least once a month somebody says something about a face reveal.
And why do you think that's so important to people?
I completely understand it, to be honest. Like, there's just like this urge to know what they look like. Like when you just hear someone's voice, you paint your own picture of who they are, and then there's always going to be a part of you that wants to know. So
the future of YouTube, the future of Moomin Littlesocks, the future of the channel. What are we thinking?
The thing is, like, as I said, I'm happy to just keep putting out content at a steady pace. The thing is, like, I know that there's a cap, I guess, because I'm not willing, I don't think, to venture outside of Planet Coaster. I don't feel the need to, and I don't think people want it. So within the realm of Planet Coaster, we can see, using Channel 5 Gaming as a benchmark, that 100k is kind of like
where you're going to get.
That's your upper limit. And so knowing that, and don't get me wrong, like if I could ever reach 100k, that'd be incredible. Like, and you can make a passive income off of that level.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So if we're talking about like whether I could make it my full-time thing or not, it's definitely still feasible. Whether I'll get there with what I do, I'm not sure. People aren't interested in anything outside of me doing sarcastic Planet Coaster content, and that's fine. Like I'm at peace with that. I'm really glad that you let me ask you a lot of questions and that you let me get a little bit nosy with you even. You are so welcome. It's been a delight, and I hope I haven't been too boring. And I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to you for being an incredible streamer, and most importantly, just friend to all of us in the community, and we all love you. Oh, why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? Oh, no. Oh man, I'm crying in my eyes.